Hey everyone, this is Riven Blade, and today I'm going to recap and review AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen 2021. So, we start things off with an absolutely amazing introduction for the Dark Order. This is one of the greatest modern day wrestling entrances I've seen in a long time, and I've watched it like 7 times at this point over the past 2 days, and I'm really looking forward to watching it again for years to come. If you saw the show, it sent chills down my spine. I gotta be honest. When Hangman walked out, and when that crowd just roared as he walked towards the ring, leading the Dark Order, you could tell that he was having the time of his life. Like, he couldn't help but crack a smile. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I know that people felt mixed on the way that the Elite Squad did their entrance, but I also loved that equally, but for vastly different reasons. Largely, Don Callis' shorts, I thought, were absolutely incredible. The kind of corporate synergy they mentioned regarding, the new Space Jam movie, that was pretty cool. And these guys, I was surprised that they started off with this match, but I'm glad they did. This match got about 30 minutes, so that's a quarter of the entire episode of Dynamite, and it was well worth it. Everyone got a time to shine. Like, I thought John Silver in particular, when he went on a run in this match, he looked absolutely phenomenal. And I love that it came down to Hangman taking on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. The 4 guys who had that amazing match at Revolution were the final 4. And at this point, I was really starting to wonder, wait, they're gonna have Hangman lose this. And lo and behold, despite Hangman, fighting the odds, pinning one of the Bucks, he couldn't overcome the odds, and he was pinned by the one-winged angel. And the crowd, I think they got deflated by this. I gotta be honest. And I looking at my timeline on Twitter too, I saw a lot of people. They thought for sure Hangman was winning this, that now is Hangman's time, that there is, and I agree, there is poetry to Hangman winning at All Out 2 years after losing at the original All Out. And given how invested everyone is in this story right now and how upset they are that Hangman didn't win this, I think there's plenty of juice in this story. I think they can build Hangman back up again, and let him do his own thing again for a little while until he's ready. This feels like book 2 of a 3-book series where the hero really meets the antagonist for the first time, and in a real significant way, thinking that they have what it takes to beat him, but they still don't. Like, Hangman still has self-doubt. Hangman is still dealing with his drinking a little bit. And I don't know if he has fully embraced the Dark Order, despite everything that he's shown on screen lately. So I can't wait to see the rest of this story just play out in book 3 over the next however many months it takes. I wouldn't even mind if it goes another year. To be quite honest, I'm going to say that there's tons of juice left in the Kenny Omega belt collector storyline, whether you bring him to DDT to take the title off, Takeshita, whether you have him beat Jay White to take the Never title from New Japan. It seems like he is just getting going. I feel like he has just found his footing as champion over the past 2 months, and there's a lot to do. Now, I understand that some people are not going to be fans of this result. They really were hoping and expecting Hangman to become champion at All Out. But you know what? I trust AEW. They have enough of a track record to showing that they know what they're doing in a lot of these situations. So I think they are definitely still angling to have Hangman be the one to take the title off Kenny. It's just not now. He's just not ready. And there's a lot more juice in this title run. And this was just a tremendous opening 30 minutes to the show. Now, of course, your mileage is going to vary depending on how you feel about multi-man tags and elimination matches, and how strict you are with, wanting to adhere to tag rules, because this match definitely didn't do that. But if you are just someone who enjoys this story, enjoys these characters, wants to see the struggle continue, I think you're going to enjoy this, and you probably did enjoy this. If you're watching this review, you probably watched it already. So hell of a match. Really liked it. Next, this quick backstage segment with Pac and Andrade. So, where are the Lucha Brothers? Basically, is the situation here. Pac sent a car for them at the airport, and it got canceled. And Andrade and Chavo sent a limo to pick him up so they can drive in style. So this is another kind of custody of the Lucha Brothers storyline. It looks like Pac already went through this with Eddie Kingston. Now he's going through it with Andrade. He's really got to be questioning himself as the father figure of this group, or the Lucha Brothers. I mean, those guys just got to be stronger mentally, man. Like, what's going on with them and how easily they are swayed from one group leader to another. So we'll see how this goes. As long as it ends up with some kind of match involving all of these men and maybe some surprises that maybe Andrade still has up his sleeve, we'll see. I'm going to be perfectly happy with that. So whether it's Phoenix and Andrade, Pac and Andrade, whether it's Penta and Andrade, or Pac and Penta, or Pac and Phoenix, whatever the match combination is, there is like the potential for a massive, explosive, tremendous match in this storyline that they've got going. So can't wait to see where it goes next. Next, we got Taz looking like Mussolini over here with this kind of setup that he's got going, getting ready for Ricky Starks' celebration after he won the FTW championship. And really, Hook is the star of this. Like, he looks tremendous with those flowers. And I gotta say, this guy, imagine this guy walks up to your door. He's going on his first date with your kid. And how do you react to him? I mean, do you just stare into his dreamy eyes? Because Hook's a good looking dude. I gotta say it. Anyway, Brian Cage comes in and he breaks a trombone because Ricky had the whole band out like for his entrance. I didn't like that they played his entrance music and then it cut off. And it sounded like it was silence, and I think there was some audio issues because they didn't really pick up the band at around the ring right away. So that was kind of a little awkward. But once they picked up the band, it was pretty cool. This was a fun little segment, and Ricky Starks, again, he cut a fun promo. So looking forward to seeing what these guys do next. Not yet sold on Brian Cage as a babyface. I was sold on him as a babyface when I watched him in TNA a little bit. But it doesn't seem like the crowd has taken to him just yet. So I think they've got their work cut out for them still, after maybe thinking that they had done it already with the story of Ricky and the rest of FTW betraying him. I think crowds are reacting to Ricky as a babyface. I think they're reacting to Cage as, well, maybe not a heel, but certainly they're not super interested in him as a face just yet. So I think they got their work cut out for them in this feud. Let's see what happens. And yeah, those mean mugs from those boys just looking great. Next, we got Tanahashi clearly reading off a teleprompter, talking about the IWGP US title and how he is going to be challenging the winner of tonight's match between Lance Archer and Hikuleo. And this was huge. This initially, I thought, wait, what's going on? Are we getting Tanahashi in an AEW ring, like for a New Japan title? But that is not happening. So he will not be fighting in an AEW ring. He will be fighting in a New Japan ring against the winner. And there's a different development, a more interesting development later on in the show relating to Tanahashi that I will get to. But, this was actually really cool for me to see Tanahashi. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I can't wait to see him mix it up potentially with some wrestlers from AEW. There's some dream match scenarios coming up, especially if the Bryan Danielson rumors prove to be true. That would be incredible. Next up, man, I'm so disappointed that this match had to end because of the unfortunate slicing of Cash Wheeler's arm at one point during this match. Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. Santana and Ortiz got a tremendous ovation from the crowd when they came out. And once they started, though, I don't know, and I feel it probably was as a result of the results of the Hangman and Kenny match, but the crowd was not into this match, and I don't think you can blame it on the performers. I think you got to blame it on just the general mood and maybe the malaise of not getting the winner that they wanted in that opener, because these teams worked really hard. And if you watch this match in a vacuum, if you watch it without volume and you just see the work that these guys are doing, It's incredibly intense. It's hard hitting. Apparently, they've been working on like putting this match together since May or something like that. And it was going really well until they had to kind of rush to the finish because Cash Wheeler had an arm injury, cut his arm open on one of the turnbuckles as he fell off the top rope. And it's just really unfortunate that this happened, and I hope that he can recover as soon as possible. Apparently, it's not too serious. Hopefully, he just needs some stitches, and that we can have the proper match between these two teams, maybe at All Out, maybe sooner, because I'm looking forward to seeing them mix it up, man, because they had a great match, a very strong match before this stuff happened, and I was really enjoying it, and they deserve a crowd that's into it as well. So looking forward to seeing more from FTR against Santana and Ortiz in the very near future. Both these teams are great together. Next, we go backstage to Britt Baker and Reba with Tony Schiavone, and they are saying that everybody is coming after Britt. She talks about her broken wrist and everything like that, and how Nyla truly breaks bees and all that kind of thing. And Britt says that she needs to bring in some protection, some extra muscle. And this has got people speculating, well, who could it be? Is it going to be from someone from outside the company? I've heard the Iconics suggested. I've heard Ruby Riott suggested. Honestly, I haven't seen the work of the Iconics or Ruby Riott. I've heard their names. That's about it. So, either one of those, if people are excited for those, that would be fine. Someone maybe from NWA? I don't know. I guess we'll see. So I think it's going to be somebody brand new. I don't think it's somebody within the company itself, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I loved Britt's line in this at the very end where she talked about it looks like everybody is holding their breath, or she knows that everyone is holding their breath, waiting for her to fail. And she hopes that they are ready to suffocate because they're going to be holding their breath for a long time. That's the point there. So Britt continues just delivering on the mic in this one. And then Tony Schiavone makes the special announcement that on Friday, August 20th in Chicago, Illinois, at the United Center, we have AEW Rampage, The First Dance. Now, this is I believe a 20,000 plus seat arena. This is clearly heavily teasing, heavily confirming the debut of CM Punk in AEW. I mean, they would receive so much backlash if CM Punk didn't show up at this show. So you can almost bet on it that he will be there. And if that wasn't enough, follow that right up with Darby talking about AEW being the place to prove that, you are the greatest, even if you call yourself the best in the world. And his delivery of this was great. And the crowd just erupted when he said the line. I loved it. Sting just looking like Sting. Alex Marvez knows what's going on. And it's happening. I can't believe it's happening, but it's happening. CM Punk is coming back to professional wrestling. I was never a huge CM Punk fan in the ring. The match that I liked the most, I think, was the match he had against Brock. Yeah, I think it was the Brock match. I think that was the one that I liked a lot. Anyway, but he has a promo, and I know that he has a lot of fans, a lot of supporters that follow him wherever he goes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring to AEW. Next up, we had a big boys match between Lance Archer and Hikuleo, and King Haku, the Mang, also was at ringside for this one. And this match was fine. These guys put on just a pretty good big man match. I'm glad that I watched the non-commercial version of this. So during the commercial, one of the commercial breaks, Lance Archer just smacks Hikuleo on the chest with both of his hands, and it was just one of those shotgun blast chops. So if you can watch the unedited non-commercial version of this somewhere online or on your Fight subscription, I recommend it just for that spot. It was pretty wild. And he wins with the blackout, looking good. Mang/King Haku got involved in this as well at one point, and it was just a fun little big man match. It's cool just to see New Japan titles defended on an American pro wrestling show. Lance Archer, I'm really happy for this guy. He has come a long way. And honestly, though, I don't know if he's come a long way. Okay, he's come a long way in terms of just where he is on the card, in terms of winning a championship, finally winning a massive match against John Moxley in that Texas Deathmatch Classic that they had. But I want to say that I called this. I just want to say that I knew this was going to happen when he was going to win the IWGP US Championship. I just had a really strong feeling it was his time. This is his time. Now I'm kind of worried, though, that he might lose that title already to Tanahashi. And I kind of don't want that to happen because I think Lance deserves a bit of a run here. Although with what's being teased with Moxley and Tanahashi, I don't know if they want to get a US title involved in that too. Anyway, next we get this feud feels hot. Malachi Black and Cody Rhodes. So Cody's in the back, and he's on the headset beside Jerry Lynn, and Tony Khan's back there too. And Malachi Black, all of a sudden, his boot just comes out of the frame, and they brawl to the outside. They brawl into the arena, and Black just takes him out. And what's interesting here is that the crowd was visibly booing Cody Rhodes when he got a shot on Malachi Black. And then when Black hit the black mass on Cody, the crowd visibly cheered. And Black, in this moment, he said to Cody, "Do you hear that?" And Cody, this is the House of Black. Welcome to the House of Black. So I'm wondering if we are going to get some kind of character shift finally for Cody, because I love Cody. I have loved Cody in AEW, but lately, in the past several months, I have found it hard to cheer for him. The promo he caught a couple of weeks ago, very fiery on the commentary and then grabbing the mic inside the ring, that was fantastic stuff. However, when he's not holding a mic, I don't know. I'm finding it hard to cheer for him, and I think Black needs this win. It's his first major match in AEW, so I'm curious to see where they go with it. And he also hit a tremendous kick on Fuego del Sol, who sold it like death, sold it wonderfully. There was a great camera angle going close in on Fuego's face. And this was just a really nice angle. This angle feels really hot. This match feels like it's going to be really hot next week. I hope they deliver. I hope Black goes over. And I hope Cody maybe disappears for a while and maybe comes back with some kind of different character alignment. Like we were kind of thinking this would happen after the Brody Lee match. Didn't happen. But maybe this time we are going to get that Cody heel turn that I think some people are waiting for or asking for, because the fans are clearly, at least for this show, they were all in on Malachi Black and not so much in on Cody Rhodes. So let's see where they go with that. Next up, quick Miro promo hyping up his match against Lee Johnson that's coming up next week, and that he only needs two things in life, and that is a vengeful God and a what did he say? Not double jointed wife. So those were the two things that I remember from this promo. Anyway, he looks great. The TNT title, the redesign looks fantastic on him, and looking forward to that match. Lee Johnson, like I said, I think he has got the tools. I think he is a great wrestler for his age, and I think he has a big future in AEW. So let's see what he can do against someone like Miro. I think they're going to match up really well together. So I'm actually thinking that might be a surprise sleeper hit of a match, even though it's a Miro match. You know what you're gonna get. But I think some people might be surprised by how good it actually is. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Next up, we had this trios match that was pretty quick. I think it was under 5 minutes between Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Christian. Christian getting his own entrance right after the Jurassic Express. Kind of like a soft heel vibe for Christian going on. Taking on Private Party and Angelico with Matt Hardy at ringside. This was a fun little match, basically, is what I will say. It's more of a story match than anything else. What I liked at one point was Luchasaurus kind of hit like a German on all three members of the opposing team, and the camera panned to Christian. The expression on his face was just tremendous. Anyway, Christian actually wins this one with a frog splash off the top, but after the match, the Blade comes in wearing a hoodie, hits him with brass knucks. I guess he bought a new pair at the store, and knocks him out. And you know what? Christian's selling was really good. He he looked DED dead here. So I'm getting more and more impressed with Christian. I want to see where he goes. And basically, Blade is, being paid by Matt Hardy. He says, you do not disrespect this man, kind of thing. So clearly, he's going to be fighting Christian next week on Matt Hardy's behalf, who is not done with Christian. And the Blade has a strong physique. He's a pretty good wrestler. I don't know how much he does for me as a character just yet. He's just a mercenary, basically. So I guess that's fine. But I'm looking forward to seeing a Christian match next week, honestly, because he had a very strong showing with Matt Hardy, and I want to see what he can do against somebody like the Blade. Next, just a quick promo for Nick Gage, just priming everyone for what this guy's about before the main event a little bit later in the show. And they showed everything in this. So once I saw this on Road 2 this week, they showed light tubes, they showed glass, they showed the pizza cutter spots with, raking across the forehead. And I thought they're teasing this stuff way too much and showing it overtly to not deliver it in the main event. And boy, would they deliver it in the main event later. So we got Thunder Rosa taking on Julia Hart in the women's match this week. We're so happy for Thunder Rosa to be officially signed by AEW. Julia Hart is improving. I think these reps on Dynamite, on Elevation, on Dark are going to go a long way to getting her to the place she needs to be in order to be a star in this company. For now, I think she still has a long ways to go, but we got to remember this girl is only 19 years old. Like only 19, okay? So imagine how good she could be 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 10 years. In 10 years, she's only going to be 29, okay? That's pretty impressive, pretty wild to think about. Hopefully she's still doing this if she keeps improving at this rate. And Thunder Rosa just beats her with the Fire Thunder driver, and she celebrates, and the crowd gave her a massive pop. I mean, Thunder Rosa is it. She is that wrestler. She is the one who's going to take the title off Britt. She needs to be. And honestly, I am more looking forward to a Thunder Rosa title run from a match quality perspective than I am to the Britt run from a match quality perspective that's happening right now. I think from character work, Britt is definitely stronger, but I look at Thunder Rosa as having that kind of Bret Hart energy in the ring. I know those two are, a little bit much different actually in their in-ring styles, but I'm looking forward to seeing what she can put together when she actually does go on a run with the title. And I love the dropkick she gave in the corner to Julia Hart in this match. It looked a little stiff, honestly, like right in the abdomen, maybe took out a kidney or something. So, yeah. This was a decent match, but I want more from the women. This was just a showcase to say, hey, Thunder Rosa's officially with AEW now. Okay, cool. Then we got next week hype. So we got Malachi Black taking on Cody Rhodes. Again, this feud feels hot. Psyched for that match. Miro versus Lee Johnson should also be a very strong match. The Bunny versus legit Layla Hirsch for an NWA Women's World Championship Eliminator match. I believe Camille is the NWA Women's Champion at the moment. So the winner of this match will face her. Should probably be Layla. I don't think the Bunny should be beating someone like Layla. And yeah, I'm curious about this one. And it's cool to see, again, this kind of synergy across brands in AEW. And of course, we got Christian taking on the Blade. And later, we also going to have the reveal of the third labor of Jericho. But before we get to any of that, we have Jon Moxley cutting a Jon Moxley promo, a shirtless Jon Moxley promo, holding a flask, talking about water polo and the Olympics, talking about how he can't get to Japan, talking about how Tanahashi has been ducking him and he hasn't come to the United States. But as soon as Moxley loses the U.S. title, Tanahashi wants to come over and challenge for the U.S. title. So clearly, Moxley has a problem with Tanahashi. He thinks Tanahashi has been avoiding him. And, they're going to be on a collision course. I think this is step one. And I hope it's step one towards Moxley and Tanahashi, potentially at the all-out pay-per-view. I wouldn't mind seeing it at a New Japan show. But, man, that would be quite a special attraction at All Out, especially if you add, like, Punk and Darby, if that's happening, and then a championship match between Kenny and I'm assuming it's going to be Christian. But yeah, this should be cool. Jon Moxley's the best, honestly. And then finally, the main event. So this is going to divide a lot of people, of course. If you're into deathmatch wrestling, you probably had a blast watching this one. You got like an authentic deathmatch, maybe scaled down just by 15 to 20% on television, on cable. And Nick Gage had a really strong reaction from the crowd, and he didn't just do quote unquote garbage wrestling. He actually showed off some moves. And what I got to say is that Jericho in particular really impressed me in this match, doing a top rope hurricanrana on Gage, who went through a glass table. I'm assuming all this stuff is gimmicked, of course. I don't think Jericho or Gage would be doing this on live TV with the real risk of real shards of glass and stuff like that. But I was impressed with Jericho managing to do that move, being so close to the pane of glass that was set up across the chairs. So that was really impressive. And I really liked this match. I thought it was very intense. I thought it was very vicious. I thought it was just a lot of fun, to be quite honest with you, and very smartly booked, especially with the beginning where you had Gage just whip the pizza slicer across Jericho's arm, showing you that, hey, this thing is real, and he actually sliced his arm a bit. So I thought that was a smart start to the match, and it was just very captivating. I know it's not for everybody. It's not really for me, to be honest. Like, if they could do one of these once every 8 months, that would be more than enough for me, honestly. But following up the Texas Death match last week, the No Rules match this week, and the ratings that came as a result of these shows, clearly there's an appetite for this stuff. And maybe we're in a cultural shift right now with pro wrestling. Who knows? And maybe we're about to witness pro wrestling history with another seismic shift in the industry, with potentially CM Punk and Bryan Danielson coming into AEW. And maybe part of that is going to be more violent deathmatch style wrestling. Who knows? But I really got to say, I enjoyed this match. And how much are these labors of Jericho over delivering right now? Okay. So at the end of the match, we had MJF come out, talked about, the first promo exchange he had with Jericho, how Jericho told him to Google Juventud Guerrera, who the heck is Juvi? And next week, we got Juventud Guerrera taking on Chris Jericho in the third labor of Jericho. And I got to say, these labors are way over delivering for me. Like, when this whole thing started, I was dreading the thought of watching 4 straight weeks of Jericho singles matches. I really liked the match last week against Shawn Spears. I really enjoyed the match against Nick Gage this week. Next week versus Juventud Guerrera, let's see what happens there. But just the prospect of having Juvi back on TV is really, really cool. And then who knows who the 5th one is going to be? Is it going to be Ken Shamrock, or is it going to be Lance Storm? Like, a lot of people are speculating online. It's just really cool. Like, wrestling is awesome when there are surprises involved, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this episode 4 pizza slices out of 5, and maybe not losing sponsorship from Domino's. That would be great if that didn't happen. Or maybe Domino's just needs to get with it and get with the MDK all day. Whatever. Anyway, what did you think of this episode? And if you like this video, if you watched this far, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and keep the conversation going down below. Can't wait to see what happens. This summer is just wild for AEW. It is just some of the most provocative, some of the most intense, some of the most captivating pro wrestling television I have ever seen, and I can't wait to see what they do next. So until next time, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.